Take a slow breath and let yourself arrive. Not tomorrow, not later tonight, right here, in this quiet moment that belongs only to you. Feel your shoulders soften just a little, as if they've been carrying the weight of a long day and are finally allowed to rest. Notice the way your body sinks gently into the bed or the couch beneath you, like it's exhaling too, grateful to stop holding everything together for a while. Let your breath fall into an easy rhythm, nothing forced, nothing dramatic, just the natural rise and fall that's been with you since the day you were born. In and out, like a small tide brushing the shore. And as you settle, imagine the world around you softening as well. Maybe you picture a quiet porch at dusk, the kind with wide wooden boards and a soft old rocking chair. A gentle breeze moves through the trees, carrying the smell of evening, cool, earthy, familiar. You can almost hear the sigh of the world slowing down, the last hint of daylight fading behind the hills. Or maybe, in your mind, you're beside a slow-moving river. One of those calm rivers found in small towns, the kind people walk past on their way home from work. The moonlight touches the water, stretching in silver ripples that seem to whisper, "It's okay. You're safe. Let go now." Wherever your imagination settles, let it be somewhere peaceful, somewhere that feels like home. Tonight, you don't need to fix anything. You don't need to solve anything. You don't even need to think clearly. All you need is this gentle moment where your breath is allowed to deepen, your body is allowed to rest, and your mind is allowed to loosen its grip. You've had a long day, maybe a long week, maybe longer. Work has its way of draining you. Emails, deadlines, people needing your time, your attention, your patience. Family brings its own weight, the responsibilities, the decisions, the quiet wishes to be better, to be enough. And your thoughts, oh, the thoughts, sometimes they swirl like leaves caught in restless autumn wind, spinning and spinning long after the sun has gone down. You're not alone in that. So many people listening tonight feel the same heaviness, the same tightness in the chest, the same tired swirl of worries that don't know when to stop. So go ahead, let your jaw unhinge just a little, let your forehead soften, let your hands relax where they are. Nothing here requires judgment or evaluation. There's no right or wrong way to rest. There's only breathing, settling, releasing. And as you breathe, imagine the quiet space around you filling with a soft glow, like candlelight, or a gentle moonbeam resting on your skin. This light doesn't demand anything from you. It simply invites you to be here, just as you are. Let the thoughts that might still be clinging drift a little farther away. They don't need to disappear. They just need room to breathe. You can watch them pass by like clouds moving across a wide evening sky. No pushing, no resisting, just noticing. Maybe there's a small voice in you that often judges your choices, your past, your imperfections, your pace in life. That voice works hard during the day. But right now, it's tired too. Let it rest. Let it find a quiet corner to curl up in, like a cat settling in for the night. Judgment will still be there tomorrow if you need it. But tonight, you don't. Tonight, you are allowed to be human, soft, imperfect, real, resting. Feel your breath again. Slower now, calmer, more connected to the quiet rhythm inside you. If it helps, imagine the wind brushing past a stand of pine trees. Each breath, like the soft hush of needles, moving peacefully in the dark. Or imagine the gentle tapping of rain on a window, a slow, steady rhythm reminding you that nature never rushes, never demands perfection, never forces itself into shapes that hurt. Everything in the natural world simply is. And tonight, you get to simply be. Before we drift deeper, I want to share something with you from the heart. If this space, the calm, the softness, the quiet company brings you comfort, I'd love to have you here again. This channel is a small place of peace in a loud world, made for nights like this, for moments when you just need someone to guide you back towards stillness. If you feel it, you're welcome to subscribe, not out of obligation, but because you deserve more moments of ease, of gentleness, of rest. And if you want to help this space grow, a simple comment makes a difference. Just type 1 if this brought you comfort, or 2 if it didn't quite land for you tonight. Both help, both matter, both guide me to make this a softer, warmer place for you. No pressure, no expectation, just an invitation from one human to another. Now, let your breathing slow again. The night is settling, your body is settling, and your mind, like a snow globe set down on a quiet table, is beginning to let its thoughts drift slowly to the bottom. Stay with this softness, stay with this warmth, and when you're ready, we'll move gently, naturally, into the deeper part of your journey tonight. Just breathe and let yourself be held by the quiet. Story 1. Long ago, 2 monks were walking along a quiet country road after a night of gentle rain. The world still glistened with the shimmer of morning, and the air held that soft, earthy scent Americans often notice after a summer shower, like wet soil, fresh grass, and the smallest hint of pine rising from the woods. Their robes were damp at the edges, but they walked peacefully, calmly, side by side. As they approached a narrow crossroads, they saw a young woman standing at the edge of a deep puddle. The water stretched across the entire stretch of the road, muddy and cold. She wore a fine dress, the kind that would be ruined if she stepped into the water. She stood there helplessly, unsure what to do, her gaze shifting between the puddle and her feet. One of the monks, tall, broad-shouldered, with a kindness that showed before he even spoke, smiled gently. Without hesitation, he walked toward her. "May I?" he asked. She nodded with surprise, and before she could protest, he lifted her into his arms and carried her safely to the other side. She thanked him softly and continued on her way. The 2 monks walked on. The road stretched calmly ahead, the sound of water dripping from leaves echoing gently through the trees. But after a long while, the second monk finally spoke. "You know," he said in a low, troubled voice, "we monks are not supposed to touch women. Why did you carry her?" The first monk slowed his steps, then smiled in a way that seemed to soften even the wind around them. "Brother," he said, "I set her down miles ago. Why are you still carrying her?" As you listen to this old story, consider how easily the mind picks things up. Little burdens, small judgments, quiet resentments, old mistakes. We carry them for days, weeks, sometimes years. The world outside moves on like a peaceful road after rain. But inside, the weight clings. You might notice tonight that you, too, have been carrying things that no longer need to be held. Thoughts about what someone said, worry about how you handled a moment. That subtle tension in your chest when you replay conversations or imagine how you could have done better. Take a slow breath and imagine setting something down. It doesn't have to be everything, just one thing. One small stone you've been holding in your palm. Let it drop softly into the earth. Feel your shoulders loosen. Even by a degree, let your breath widen. Imagine you're walking on that quiet road now, with morning light filtering through the trees. The air is cool, gentle, forgiving. With each step, something heavy falls away behind you, left in the soft mud, sinking, dissolving. Nothing to fix, nothing to judge, just walking, breathing, softening. Let the story settle inside you like a warm blanket across your heart. And as you breathe slowly, feel your body begin to drift. Not asleep yet, just drifting toward the quiet, where sleep is waiting. Let your mind walk that peaceful road, unhurried, unburdened, carried by the soft rhythm of your breath, until rest begins to find you. Story 2. There was once a proud scholar who visited a Zen master, eager to show his knowledge, eager to prove his understanding of life. He spoke rapidly, endlessly, his words spilling out like a river in spring. The Zen master listened without interruption, his old wooden teacup resting gently in his hand. Finally, the master lifted a teapot and began to pour tea into the scholar's cup. He poured and poured and poured. The tea rose to the brim, then overflowed, then spilled across the table, onto the floor. The scholar leapt up. "Stop! The cup is full. You'll ruin everything." The master looked up gently. "Yes," he said, "just like your mind. How can you receive anything new if your cup is already full?" There's a softness in this teaching that touches the heart, even years later. Consider your own day, the meetings, the conversations, the traffic, the constant alerts from your phone, the silent pressures of being responsible. Your mind becomes crowded, full to the brim, like that cup. And in the quiet moments at night, moments like this, your thoughts keep pouring. Plans, regrets, little judgments, expectations, all of it overflowing. But tonight, you can let the cup rest. Take a slow breath and imagine an old wooden table in a peaceful cabin. Your cup sits there, warm, simple, waiting. Now imagine a gentle breeze blowing through the open window, a night breeze carrying the scent of pine, of still water, of quiet. That breeze begins to empty the cup, not forcefully, not suddenly, but naturally, the way a lake settles after a skipped stone fades. Perhaps you feel a small softening inside, or a loosening in the jaw, or the slightest warmth in the chest. That's the mind beginning to make space, not emptying everything at once, just opening a window. Let yourself breathe again, slower now. Imagine the thoughts you picked up today lifting like steam from warm tea, rising and fading, rising and fading. Nothing to hold, nothing to fix, just space. And as that space grows, so does the ease in your body. You might feel a gentle heaviness in your arms, a comfortable weight in your legs, your eyelids becoming slower, softer. Let the cup empty a little more. Breathe and drift and rest. Story 3. An old farmer once lived in a quiet valley, tending a small piece of land beside a creek that whispered softly through the seasons. He had a horse, strong, loyal, and precious to him. One day, the horse ran away. The neighbors came to offer sympathy. "What terrible luck," they said. The old farmer simply replied, "Maybe so." A week later, the horse returned, bringing with him 3 wild horses from the hills. The neighbors said, "What wonderful luck." End quote. The farmer said again, "Maybe so." Soon after, the farmer's son tried to ride one of the wild horses. The horse bucked, and the young man fell, breaking his leg. The neighbors cried, "What terrible luck." The farmer said, "Maybe so." Not long after, the army came through the valley, drafting young men for war. They passed over the farmer's injured son. The neighbors exclaimed, "What wonderful luck." The farmer just smiled. "Maybe so." In this route, consider this gentle rhythm. Life rises, falls, twists, softens. What seems terrible becomes a doorway. What seems perfect becomes a challenge. Judgment, good, bad, shouldn't, should have, tightens the chest, fills the mind, steals sleep. And tonight, you don't need any of that. Take a slow breath and imagine standing on the farmer's porch at dusk. The air is cool. Crickets hum softly. The fields stretch out like a quiet ocean of grass. Let your breath rise and fall like those fields. Perhaps something happened today that felt heavy. Or maybe your mind keeps labeling moments, turning them over, attaching little tags of wrong, bad, not enough. These labels weigh the heart, but you can set them down. Breathe again. Slow, steady. Imagine the farmer beside you, calm as the twilight, rocking gently in his chair. He doesn't rush, doesn't push, doesn't tighten. He just breathes. You might notice that his calm becomes your calm. His stillness becomes your stillness. Let the mind soften like warm earth after rain. Let judgments become distant echoes. As the story settles inside you, imagine leaning back, feeling your body grow heavier, grounded, safe. With each breath, more softness, more ease, more space. You're drifting, slowly, gently, toward the quiet center, where sleep begins to rise like moonlight across the fields. Let the farmer's wisdom hold you tonight. Breathe, and drift, and rest. Story 4. Once, a young monk approached his teacher with frustration rolling through his voice like a sudden storm. "Master," he said, "my mind is full of anger. I carry it like a heavy stone. What should I do?" The teacher led him to a quiet pond just beyond the temple. The water was calm, smooth as glass, reflecting the sky above. "Lift this stone," the teacher said, handing him a rock. The monk held it out in front of him. At first it was easy, then tiring, then painful. His arms trembled. "How long must I hold it?" he asked. "Only until you choose to put it down." The monk dropped the stone. The ripples spread across the pond and slowly faded. The teacher smiled softly. "Your anger is the same. You hold it, or you let it go." As you let this story wash through you, consider how often you hold emotions long after the moment has passed. Irritation from a conversation, hurt from a passing remark, frustration from a small mistake. You tighten your shoulders, your breath becomes shallow, and the mind circles the same worries over and over. But tonight, you can put something down, take a slow breath, and imagine standing beside that calm pond. A cool night breeze moves across the water. The surface reflects the moon like a gentle silver lantern. In your hands, you hold a stone, not a heavy one, just the weight you carried today. A thought, an irritation, a worry. Feel it. And now, imagine letting it fall from your hands into the water. A soft splash, a ring of ripples, a widening circle, and then stillness. Your shoulders lower, your breath deepens, your heart loosens. Let yourself breathe with the pond, in and out, like gentle ripples softening into stillness. The night is calm around you, and the quiet settles into your body like warm blankets. Allow your thoughts to drift, like leaves floating across the pond, slow, unhurried, carried by water, fading into distance. You're safe, you're resting, you're softening. Feel sleep beginning to rise behind your eyelids, gentle and steady, like the moon climbing higher. Let yourself drift into the calm, carried by breath, supported by stillness, held by the night. Story 5. There was once a musician who came to the Buddha, troubled by his restless mind. He was skilled with the lute, but he could not find peace. "When I tighten the strings too much," he said, "they break. When I leave them too loose, they produce no sound. Only when the strings are tuned just right does the music flow." The Buddha nodded. "In the same way," he said softly, "the mind finds harmony when neither too tight nor too loose." Mini one. This teaching echoes through centuries, whispered through meditation halls and restlessly turning minds. And perhaps tonight, as you listen, you might feel that same tension, the striving, the pushing, the tightening that comes from trying to be perfect, trying to hold everything together, trying to get through the day without breaking. And the opposite, numbness, exhaustion, collapse, comes when everything feels too loose, too heavy, too far out of reach. But there is a middle path, a gentle tuning, a natural settling. Take a deep breath and imagine holding a simple wooden lute in your hands. You sit on a porch overlooking rolling hills in late evening light. The sky is a soft blue, fading into lavender. Fireflies spark gently in the grass below. Your breath moves in rhythm with the quiet world around you. Now imagine adjusting one string, loosening it, tightening it, finding that perfect point where the sound is warm and full. Then another, then another. Each string becomes a part of your breath, your heart, your quiet intention to rest. Consider this. Your body does not need to be perfect tonight. Your thoughts do not need to be silent. You only need to find the place inside you that feels just enough. Just enough ease to soften your muscles. Just enough warmth to settle your chest. Just enough quiet to let sleep find its way toward you. Let your breath slow, like fingers gently tuning one string at a time. Let your shoulders drop, like a note fading into twilight. Let your body rest, like the stillness between songs. The night around you is soft, forgiving. The hills are darkening. The fireflies glow faintly, drifting like tiny lanterns. And you are tuning yourself gently toward rest. Feel the weight of your body sinking into the bed. Feel the breath moving like warm wind through tall grass. Feel your thoughts dissolving into quiet space. You don't need to do anything more. Let the strings inside you settle into harmony. Let the music fade into silence. Let your mind drift towards sleep, softly, slowly, like a final note disappearing into the night. Story 6. One evening, a monk was walking with his teacher along a quiet forest path. The sky above them glowed with the last soft colors of sunset, peach, gold, a gentle wash of fading blue. The trees swayed lightly in the evening breeze, their branches whispering above like old friends sharing secrets. As they walked, they heard the sudden sound of frantic movement, rustling, thumping, snapping twigs. A horse burst through the trees, wild-eyed, galloping across the path. It disappeared down the trail without ever slowing. "Wow," the monk said, startled. "That horse must be on an urgent mission. I wonder where it's going." The teacher looked at him kindly. "It's going wherever the rider is directing it." "But there was no rider," the monk said. The teacher smiled. "Exactly." The monk blinked, puzzled, and then the teaching slowly sank in, like dusk settling over the land. How often our thoughts are just like that horse racing, running, pulling us down paths we never meant to take. We think we're directing them, but sometimes we're not even in the saddle. We're carried by momentum, habit, stress, old worries, new fears, the weight of unspoken expectations. Maybe you felt a bit of that today, your mind taking off without warning, running fast through what-ifs, should-haves, and small storms that never quite calmed. Take a slow breath. Let it fill the chest gently, then release. Imagine you're standing on that quiet forest path now. The sky above is fading into night, painted with a thin crescent moon. The air is cool, steady, peaceful. No rushing, no galloping, just stillness. You might notice the faint scent of pine, or the softness of moss beneath your feet, or the simple comfort of being somewhere no one needs anything from you. Now imagine the horse returning, its breath soft, its steps slow. It walks toward you, calm now. And this time, you place a gentle hand on its neck. You take the reins. You breathe together. You don't force it. You don't pull. You simply become present. Feel your breath as the reins. Feel your awareness as the gentle hand. Feel your body settling into the quiet saddle of this moment. Your thoughts may still move, but now you move with them, not behind them. You guide them toward stillness, toward ease, toward rest. Let the horse graze now. Let the forest darken peacefully. Let your breath soften. Let sleep approach slowly, like a moon rising through the trees. Nothing is rushing anymore. Nothing is out of control. You are here, breathing, safe, drifting. Story 7. A young student once asked his master why people cling so tightly to their fears and worries. The master invited the student to follow him to a small cabin by a lake. When they arrived, the master placed a thick rope on the ground inside the dim interior. "What do you see?" he asked. "A snake," the student cried, stepping back. The master lit a lantern. "Look again." The student laughed with embarrassment. "Oh, Just a rope. The master smiled. Nothing changed except the light. Isa, consider this gentle truth as you settle into the quiet of your night. So many of the things that trouble your mind, expectations at work, tension in relationships, worries about tomorrow, often feel like snakes in a dark room. They twist in your imagination, growing larger, sharper, scarier. And then a little light is added, a conversation, a moment of clarity, a breath, and you realize the snake was something far softer, far gentler, far less harmful than it seemed. Tonight, you don't need to solve anything. Just light a small lantern inside your mind. Take a slow breath and imagine entering that peaceful cabin. The wood smells warm. The lantern glows softly. The lake outside is dark and still, reflecting the moon like a sheet of silver. Imagine placing your worries on the floor in front of you, not to judge them, not to fight them, just to see them with a little more light. You might notice they soften, they shrink, they become simply ropes. Let the warm lantern glow spread through your chest, down your arms, down your legs. Feel your body loosening, your breath settling, your mind finding a steady shore. There's no snake here, only gentle shadows, only soft light, only rest waiting patiently for you. Let that light dim slowly, like a lantern burning low, as sleep begins to drift toward you, warm and quiet as the lake at night. Story 8. There was once a monk who carried a beautiful ceramic cup, his favorite cup, simple and handmade, glazed in soft blues like an early morning sky. He cherished it deeply. One day, another monk asked him why he cared for it so intently. The monk smiled. "In my mind," he said, "this cup is already broken." He didn't say it with sadness. He said it with love, knowing that all things change, all things pass, all things shift in their own time. Knowing this allowed him to appreciate the cup even more, to feel its smooth surface, admire its color, enjoy drinking from it every day. And because he held it lightly, he was never afraid of losing it. This story reaches gently into the heart, especially on nights when you feel the weight of trying to hold everything together. Work deadlines, people you love, the responsibilities that tug at you from so many directions. You try not to let anything slip. You grip, you brace, you tighten, but consider loosening just a little. Take a slow breath and imagine holding that simple ceramic cup. Its surface is cool. Its shape fits perfectly in your hands. You don't cling to it. You simply feel it. Now imagine setting it down gently on a small wooden table beside an open window. A warm breeze moves through the room. The curtain sways softly. Outside, cicadas hum like a lullaby from a distant summer night. Feel your chest soften. Feel your hands relax. Feel your breath deepen. Perhaps there's something you've been gripping too tightly, an expectation of yourself, a worry about someone you care for, a fear of things changing. Not to let it go forever, just to loosen your hold tonight. Let your breath exhale slowly, like a gentle hand releasing a cup. Let your body settle into the mattress, like the cup resting safely on the table. Let your thoughts drift, like the breeze moving through the curtains. You don't need to control anything right now. You don't need to hold the cup. Just rest. Just breathe. Just let this moment be enough. Sleep is coming, softly, quietly, like moonlight settling into a still room. Story 9. A student once approached his master, exhausted from chasing achievement after achievement. "Master," he said, "I work so hard. I push myself every day, but peace still escapes me. What am I doing wrong?" The master handed him a jar filled with cloudy water. "Shake it," he said. The student shook it hard. The water grew murkier. "Now set it down." The student placed the jar on the table, confused. They both watched silently. Slowly, very slowly, the dirt settled. The water cleared. Peace returned, not through effort, but through stillness. As you listen, consider how often you shake the jar of your own mind, overthinking, replaying, planning, worrying. Not because you want to suffer, but because you want things to be okay. You want clarity. You want to understand. You want peace. But shaking only clouds the water. Stillness clears it. Take a deep breath and imagine holding that jar in your hands. Feel the gentle weight of it. See the water swirling with tiny bits of dirt, your thoughts, your doubts, your stresses from the day. Now imagine placing the jar on a small wooden table beside your bed. Watch as the motion slows. Watch as the water becomes calmer. Watch as clarity returns without effort. You don't need to force your mind to be still. You only need to stop shaking it. Slow your breath. Let your shoulders rest. Let your jaw release. Let your thoughts settle, one by one. Feel your body becoming heavier, like the dirt settling. Feel your mind becoming clearer, like the water clearing. Feel yourself drifting toward deep, peaceful rest. You are not lost. You are settling. You are softening. You are coming home to yourself. Let sleep rise gently around you now, like calm water embracing quiet shores. Story 10. A young man once approached a Zen master to ask how to find peace. The master led him to a wide field where tall grass swayed like ocean waves beneath a soft summer breeze. In the middle of the field was an old oak tree, steady, grounded, unshakable. The master said, "Hit the tree." The man punched it and hurt his hand. "Hit it again," the master said. The man kicked it and hurt his foot. "Why do you fight the tree?" the master asked gently. "It simply stands where it stands." "I maiden." The young man stared at the oak, breathing hard. "I don't know," he said. "I guess I expected it to move. Be remembered it. We yug. We wogue. We yug. We yug. We come from aided. We wogue. We wogue. We yug. We come from aided. The master smiled. "And that is why you suffer. You fight what simply is." Consider, just for a moment, how often you find yourself struggling with things that won't move people, acting the way they act, situations unfolding the way they unfold, life shifting with its own rhythm instead of yours. The harder you push, the more you bruise yourself. But tonight, you can stop fighting the tree. Take a long, slow breath and imagine standing in that open field. The grass sways around your legs. The air is warm, gentle. The oak tree stands tall, silent, wise. You place your hand on its rough bark. It doesn't move, but you do. You soften, feel your body loosening from the inside out, your shoulders lowering, your breath deepening, your thoughts slowing like the breeze settling at dusk. Imagine leaning your back against the oak. Its strength surrounds you. It doesn't need you to push or pull or change it. It only invites you to rest. Let your breath fall into an easy rhythm. Let the warmth of the night wrap around you. Let the field grow dim, quiet, peaceful. Nothing to resist now. Nothing to solve. Nothing to fix. Just breathe. Feel sleep rising through you like the slow growth of the oak. Steady, natural, effortless. Let yourself melt into the quiet, into the stillness, into the peace that comes when you finally stop fighting what is. Tonight, you are the one who gets to rest. Tonight, the world can turn without your effort. Tonight, the oak can hold you. Tonight, you drift, softly, gently, into deep sleep. Story 11. The bamboo that bends. There was once a small Zen temple resting at the edge of an old bamboo grove, a place where the wind always seemed to move softly, as if whispering secrets to the leaves. An elderly monk lived there, quiet and humble, tending to the bamboo each morning. He often told visitors that everything they needed to understand about life could be learned simply by watching the grove sway. One autumn afternoon, a young man came seeking guidance. He carried the familiar heaviness of someone trying hard to hold everything together. Work, expectations, self-judgment, the worry of disappointing others. His shoulders seemed to lean forward as though pushing against a wind only he could feel. The old monk invited him to walk along the path between the tall bamboo. They walked slowly, the air cool, the light soft, the scent of dry leaves rising each time their feet moved. After a long silence, the monk stopped and touched a thin stalk. "You see this one?" he said. "It bends with the wind, but it does not break. It never fights the storm. It never believes it must be stronger than the wind. It simply yields and stands again." The young man frowned. "But what if the storm is too strong? Then it bows deeper," the monk said with a gentle smile. "And when the storm passes, it rises again still whole." They stood listening as the wind swept through the grove, creating a soft, rhythmic sound, like waves against a distant shore. The young man closed his eyes. He felt something inside him loosen, a tightening he hadn't noticed, like a rope pulled too hard for too long. The monk continued, voice soft as evening light. "The world will ask much of you. People will judge you. You will judge yourself. Winds will come. But the one who bends, who releases the need to resist every gust, that one finds peace." Perhaps you feel something similar tonight. Perhaps you've been holding yourself stiff and upright all day, afraid that if you loosen even a bit, everything will fall apart. Yet here you are, listening in the quiet of evening, letting your breath soften, letting your body sink into rest. Take a slow breath in and let it fall out gently. Let yourself imagine the bamboo around you, tall, calm, bending without fear. Picture yourself among them, not rigid, not bracing, simply swaying with whatever moves through your life. You might notice your shoulders relaxing or your jaw softening. Maybe your neck feels just a little lighter. Let that gentle loosening continue, like a breeze rippling through your inner landscape. The night is here for you, safe, soft, patient, nothing to fix, nothing to resist, just breathing, just being, just bending gently, like bamboo under the moon. Let your thoughts drift the way leaves drift across a quiet yard. Let your breath rock you. Let your body sink, and when you're ready, begin to drift, gently, towards sleep. Story 12. The Traveling Monk and the Old Bridge. Long ago, a traveling monk journeyed across quiet countryside roads, carrying little more than his robes and a small bundle of food. He walked from village to village, offering a calm presence wherever he went. One cool morning, after a night of rain, he approached a long wooden bridge stretching over a slow, misty river. Standing at the entrance of the bridge was an older woman from the nearby town. She looked frustrated, arms crossed, foot tapping impatiently. When the monk greeted her, she sighed heavily and said, "They told me this bridge is unsafe. The wood is old. The planks shift. I'm afraid I'll fall, but I must cross to reach my family." The monk stepped onto the first plank. It creaked, but held. He smiled at her gently. "The bridge may be old," he said, "but it has carried people safely for many years. The crossing is not about force, only a steady step." "Insolve." She hesitated, fear tightening her breath. "Come," he said softly. "Walk with me. One plank at a time. Look not at the whole bridge, only the step before you." The woman took a breath. Then one step, then another. Halfway through, her anxiety softened. The river below was calm, moving with a slow, steady rhythm. By the time they reached the far side, she exhaled with relief, a small smile forming. "You see," the monk said, eyes kind. "Most fear comes from seeing the entire journey at once. But peace comes when we take only the step before us. Maybe tonight you feel something similar, thinking about everything at once. Work, family, tomorrow's responsibilities, the uncertainties that hover at the edge of your thoughts. It's easy to feel like that old bridge might give way beneath you, but not right now. Not here. Here, you need only one breath at a time. Let yourself breathe in, softly, slowly, and breathe out, just as gently. Imagine that quiet bridge under your feet, each plank steady, each step supported. Notice how your body eases when you trust one small moment, rather than the whole path. Let your shoulders drop. Let your hands rest. Let your breath guide you forward, gently, toward rest. The night will hold you. You can release the bridge of tomorrow. For now, just step into the next breath and drift towards sleep. Story 13. The Moon in the Water. In a small mountain village, a young student once stayed up late practicing his meditation near a quiet pond. The moon hung low in the sky, bright and full, reflecting softly on the surface of the water. He watched the reflection ripple with each small breeze. At one point, a leaf fell onto the pond, breaking the moon into trembling pieces. The student grew frustrated. He wanted the reflection to remain perfect. An old master passing by noticed his troubled expression and sat beside him. "Why do you frown?" the master asked. The moon looked beautiful, but now a single leaf ruined it. The master smiled gently. "The moon is still whole. Only the reflection changed." The student looked again. The leaf floated. The water shifted, but above them the real moon shone untouched. "Your mind," the master said, "is like this water. Thoughts are leaves. Judgments, worries, expectations, they land on the surface and distort what you see. But the truth inside you remains whole, clear, untouched." The student felt his frustration dissolve, replaced by a quiet awareness. He listened to the crickets, to the soft wind through the trees, to the faint splash of a distant fish. The world felt both vast and intimate. Perhaps tonight, you too feel the ripples of the day, thoughts landing one by one, worries about work, regrets from the past, questions about tomorrow. They disturb the surface, but not the moon inside you. Take a slow, deep breath. Let the surface settle. Let your inner sky stay untouched. You might imagine your thoughts as leaves drifting away, carried gently by the current. No need to push them. No need to judge them. Just watching them float. Slowly. Beyond the edge of your awareness. Feel your chest soften. Feel your breath deepen. Let your mind become like a still pond under the glow of night. Calm, wide, open. The moon of your inner peace is still there. Always there, waiting for you to rest beneath it. Let yourself drift, gently, quietly, towards sleep. Story 14. The Fisherman and the Broken Net. Near a quiet coastal village, where waves tapped gently against the shore, lived a fisherman known for his patience. Each morning he pushed his small wooden boat into the ocean, trusting the tides to guide him. One day, after a long night storm, he discovered a large tear in his fishing net. His neighbor shook his head. "Terrible luck," he said. "You won't catch anything today." But the fisherman smiled softly. "Perhaps," he said, "but the sea is full of surprises." Instead of repairing the net right away, he rowed out anyway. He cast his damaged net into the water, letting it sink, letting the ocean carry it. When he pulled it up, he found only a few fish, but he also found something else, a wooden box, knocked loose during the storm. Inside the box were tools, rope, and a sturdy needle. Everything needed to mend his net stronger than before. His neighbor was stunned. "How did you know that would happen?" "I didn't," the fisherman replied. "I only knew that something broken still has a way forward. Perhaps tonight you're holding something that feels torn, your energy, your confidence, your patience. The day may have left holes in your calm, but like that fisherman, you don't need perfection to move forward. You simply need presence and a soft willingness to try again." Take a slow breath. Feel your body settle. Imagine the soft rocking of a boat on calm evening waves, the horizon glowing with fading orange light. The water doesn't hurry. The wind doesn't judge. Everything moves at the pace of nature. Let yourself release whatever broken net feeling you carried into the night. Let your breath mend what needs mending. Let the waves smooth what feels rough. With each exhale, imagine the tide pulling tension away. You are here, safe, held by the quiet rhythm of night. Let the waves inside you slow, soften, still, and when you're ready, begin drifting into sleep. Story 15. The Master Who Swept the Leaves. There was once a Zen master who loved sweeping the courtyard of his temple. Every morning, no matter the season, he walked outside with a wide bamboo broom and swept fallen leaves into small, gentle piles. One autumn day, a young student questioned him. "Master, why do you sweep when the leaves will simply fall again?" The old man chuckled. "I sweep not to change the world, but to meet the moment." The student shook his head. "But doesn't it frustrate you? All this effort, only for the wind to undo it." The master brushed a leaf aside with his broom. "Young one, the wind is my companion, not my enemy, and sweeping is not for perfection, but for peace." The student didn't fully understand then, but years later, after carrying his own share of responsibilities, work deadlines, family worries, long commutes, restless nights, he found himself remembering the master's broom, the soft rhythm, the patient movements, the acceptance of each leaf, each breeze, each moment, exactly as it arrived. Maybe tonight feels like that courtyard, scattered with the leaves of the day, thoughts drifting across your mind, to-dos you didn't finish, conversations you replay, expectations you carry like stones in your pockets. But here, in this quiet space, you can lay down your broom or pick it up gently, with kindness, the way the old master did. No need to fix anything, no need to judge yourself. Just meeting this moment with steady breath. Take a slow inhale, let it fall out softly. Imagine sweeping the courtyard of your mind, slow strokes, easy movements, no pressure to clear every leaf. Just enough to feel space open inside you. Just enough to feel yourself soften. You might notice your breath deepening, your body sinking into comfort, your thoughts drifting like leaves on a breeze. Let the soft rhythm of sweeping become the rhythm of your breath. Slow, patient, steady. Let the night gather around you like a warm blanket. Let your mind rest. Let your body release its weight. And when you're ready, drift gently, quietly, into sleep. Story 16. The Empty Boat. There was once a monk who enjoyed rowing across a quiet lake at dawn. He loved the stillness of morning's soft mist rising from the surface, distant birds calling from the tree line, the oars dipping gently into the water. For him, the lake was a teacher, always calm, always patient. One morning, as he drifted in the middle of the lake with his eyes closed, another boat bumped into his. The impact was small but sudden, jarring him awake. His first reaction was irritation. Who would be so careless, he thought. Why disturb the peace? He turned around, ready to call out his frustration, but the boat beside him was empty. No rower, no passenger, just an abandoned boat drifting aimlessly, carried by the current. The monk laughed softly. His anger vanished in an instant. All this frustration, he whispered, and there was no one to receive it. WWs. As he drifted, he realized how often in life we think someone is bumping into us, offending us, undermining us, judging us, when really it's just an empty boat. A misunderstanding, a moment, a gust of circumstance drifting through our lives, and yet we give so much of ourselves to the story our mind creates. Maybe tonight, as you lie there with that familiar heaviness of the day, you can feel some of those bumps. Maybe a conversation replaying in your head, a comment that felt sharp, a moment at work or home where something hit you the wrong way. Take a slow breath in and exhale softly. Let yourself imagine those moments as empty boats, drifting on the water of your memory, not personal, not intentional, not aimed at you, just passing through. Feel your chest soften. Feel your face relax. Let the lake inside you quiet, the ripples fading out toward the horizon. Breathe slowly, gently, letting each breath create more space. The night is wide, the water is calm, and the boats around you drift without judgment, without meaning, without harm. Let yourself float, quietly, effortlessly, towards sleep. Story 17. The Old Woman and the Candle. In a small village, there lived an old woman who visited the local temple every evening. She was nearly blind, her steps slow, her back curved from age, but each night she carried a single candle to the altar, lighting it with deep care before placing it in the quiet darkness. One evening, a young monk asked her, "Why do you light this candle every night? You can hardly see its glow." In times. The woman smiled gently, wrinkles deepening like soft folds of worn cloth. "I light it not for myself," she whispered, "but for anyone walking in darkness." The monk felt humbled. He had trained for years, memorizing teachings and scriptures, yet something about this woman's simple devotion felt more profound than all his learning. A week later, a storm rolled through the village. Rain poured, wind howled, the lights in the temple flickered. The young monk rushed to close the doors, but then he saw the old woman standing outside, holding her fragile candle under her shawl, protecting the flame with her hands. When she reached the altar, she set the candle down, breathing with relief as it continued to glow despite the wind. "That little light," she said softly, "reminds me that peace does not shout. It only needs a small space to shine." End quote. Maybe tonight you're holding your own small candle inside you, something tender, tired, maybe flickering a little from the storms of the day. Maybe you've been trying so hard to stay strong, to keep your light steady. Take a slow breath. Feel the gentleness of that breath warming your chest. Imagine that soft flame glowing inside you, not bright, not demanding, just steady, a quiet light in the dark, enough to guide you through this moment. Let your shoulders soften, let your breath slow. Let the night wrap around you like a warm shawl. Your light is enough. Your presence is enough. You've carried it all the way here, through every wind and storm of the day. Let the candle glow softly, softly, as you drift into sleep. Story 18. The Farmer and the Stone Lantern. In a countryside village nestled between rolling fields, a farmer discovered an old stone lantern buried beneath weeds near the edge of his property. Time had worn its surface smooth, and moss grew along its edges like green velvet. Curious, he cleaned it gently and placed it near his porch. That first night, he set a small candle inside. The lantern's glow spread across his yard, warm and golden. His children came outside, drawn to the gentle light, and they all sat quietly on the porch together. For the first time in a long while, the farmer felt a soft peace settle in his chest. News of the lantern spread. Neighbors visited, sitting in its glow and talking about their day. Some came to cry, some came to rest, others came simply to breathe in the calm. The lantern became a gathering point not for celebration, but for presence. One evening, after a long, exhausting day, the farmer returned home, feeling weighed down. Work had been hard, the weather unpredictable, and his mind restless. But when he stepped onto the porch, he found the lantern already lit. His wife, smiling gently, said, "I lit it for you. You looked like you needed the warmth." He sat beside the lantern for a long while, feeling its heat touch his face, watching insects dance around the glow. He realized then that sometimes peace is not found in grand solutions or perfect days, but in small lights that soften the edges of our tired minds. Perhaps tonight you need that same gentle light. Maybe your day left you stretched thin, or pulled in too many directions, or carrying quiet aches no one can see. Breathe slowly. Imagine a stone lantern at your side, warm, steady, glowing just enough to ease the tension in your body. Let that light soften your thoughts. Let it ease your breath. Feel your chest loosen, your belly relax, your limbs grow heavy with calm. Let yourself sit beside that lantern in your mind, warmed by its glow, comforted by its steadiness. Let it guide you, softly, toward sleep. Story A19. The Monk Who Carried Water. There was a monk in a forest monastery, known for his incredible patience. Every morning before sunrise, he walked down a steep hill to fetch water from a small spring. The journey was long, the path rocky, and the climb back difficult, yet he never complained. He carried 2 wooden buckets, smiling softly with each step. One day, a younger monk asked him, "Why don't you rest more? Why carry water every day when the spring is so far?" The older monk looked at him kindly. "Because when I carry water, I also carry my mind." The younger monk didn't understand, so the elder invited him along. They walked the narrow trail, dew glistening on the grass, birds singing their morning songs. When they reached the spring, they filled the buckets. The younger monk struggled with the weight, stumbling as he climbed the steep path. But the elder monk walked slowly, breathing gently, each step deliberate and calm. Back at the monastery, the elder said, "When the bucket is heavy, my mind becomes still. When the path is steep, my breath becomes deep. Carrying water teaches me to be here, just here." The younger monk finally understood. The peace came not from avoiding effort, but from meeting each moment with presence instead of resistance. Maybe tonight you're carrying your own buckets, the weight of the day, expectations, the quiet efforts no one sees. Maybe the path felt steep and your mind kept stumbling. Take a slow breath, in and out. Imagine setting those buckets down beside you. Feel their weight leaving your shoulders. Feel the relief travel through your arms, your back, your chest. Let yourself rest here, at the top of the hill, knowing you've done enough for today. Let your breath deepen. Let your body settle into stillness. You carried much today. Now it's time to let the night carry you. Let yourself drift gently, quietly, into sleep. Story 20. The Sparrow and the Winter Branch. On a quiet winter morning, a small sparrow perched on a bare branch outside a Zen hermit's hut. Snow fell softly, covering the forest in a gentle white hush. The hermit stepped outside to gather firewood and noticed the tiny bird trembling from the cold. He stood still, watching as the sparrow balanced on the thin branch. A strong gust of wind blew through, shaking the tree. The sparrow nearly lost its footing, wings flapping wildly before it settled again. The hermit whispered, "Even the smallest creature holds such courage." Later that evening, as snow thickened and the air grew colder, the hermit placed a small bowl of grain and warm water near the base of the tree. The sparrow hopped down cautiously, eating slowly, its trembling easing as warmth returned to its tiny body. He thought about how life often feels like that thin winter branch, cold, shaky, uncertain. And yet we balance, we adapt, we survive the gusts. Even when we tremble, we stay. Perhaps tonight, you too feel like that sparrow tired from the wind of the day, balancing on a branch that felt too narrow, too fragile at times. Maybe you met moments that chilled you, or situations that shook your confidence. You've made it through. Take a slow breath. Imagine a warm glow rising in your chest, like a small lantern placed gently beside you. Feel your inner trembling ease, the way the sparrow found warmth in simple kindness. Let your breath flow softly. Let your thoughts quiet like falling snow. Let your body soften, heavy and safe, supported by the branch of this moment. You have weathered enough for today. Let the wind pass. Let the night hold you. Let your wings rest. And when you're ready, drift gently into peaceful sleep. Story 21. The Bell That Rang Without Wind. In a remote Zen monastery perched on a cliff above drifting mist, there hung an ancient bronze bell. Its surface was cracked with time, its rim green with age. Yet the monks cherished it, for they believed it carried the voice of stillness itself. Most days, the bell remained silent. It required great strength to make it ring, and only during ceremonies did the monks strike it gently with a padded mallet. But one evening, just as dusk softened the sky into lavender hues, the bell began to ring on its own. A long, trembling hum rose into the fading light. The monks looked up, startled, hands pausing above their evening rice bowls. They glanced at one another, silently asking the same question. What stirred the bell? There was no wind, no movement, no one nearby. Young novice Kai, curious and bright-eyed, could not contain his wonder. He ran up the stone steps to the bell tower. When he reached the top, he found old Master Dorin standing beside the bell, watching it sway ever so gently. "Master," Kai whispered, "what makes it ring?" Dorin smiled, his wrinkles soft as folded paper. "Kai," he said, "everything rings when touched by the unseen." Kai frowned slightly. "But nothing touched it." Dorin looked out over the mist. Not nothing, something quiet, something gentle. Kai sat beside him, legs dangling over the edge. "Master, what could be quiet enough to move a bell?" The old man placed a warm hand on Kai's shoulder. "Your own heart." The boy blinked. "My heart." Dorin nodded. "When the mind becomes still enough, the world begins to move differently. Mountains bow, streams pause, bells ring. Not because the world changes, but because you finally can hear what was always there." Kai closed his eyes, breathing slowly. The bell's vibration settled through him like a warm tide. In that moment, he felt something subtle awaken a gentle hum inside his own chest. The master whispered, "When the heart is calm, everything becomes music." Later that night, when the other monks teased Kai about the magical bell, he simply smiled. He knew it was not magic, only quiet. And sometimes, quiet is enough to move the world. Whisper, "Let your own heart ring softly tonight." Story 22. The Lantern That Refused to Go Out. In a snowy mountain village, where winter nights felt endless and the stars hung like silver lanterns, there lived an elderly woman named Asha. Every night, she lit a small lantern and placed it outside her window. It was an old ritual, one that villagers found charming but unnecessary. "Why do you still light it?" they asked. "No travelers pass this way anymore." Asha would only smile. "Light is never wasted." Aredid, Don, Aredid. One winter, a great storm swept across the mountains. Roads vanished. Wind roared between the rooftops like a hungry spirit. But Asha's lantern refused to go out. For 3 nights, the storm raged, yet the tiny flame remained alive, steady, unwavering. People began to gather at her home. "How is this possible?" they asked. Asha shrugged gently. "A light with purpose does not fear the wind." On the 4th night, just as the storm quieted, a faint knocking came at Asha's door. When she opened it, she found a young man collapsed in the snow, a traveler who had lost his way. "I saw only one light," he whispered, "and followed it here." The villagers stared at Asha with newfound reverence. Later, by the fire, the traveler asked her, "How did it burn for so long?" Asha smiled softly. "It wasn't the flame," she said. "It was the intention behind it." She looked into the dancing firelight, eyes warm. When you keep even the smallest light alive inside you, someone lost in the dark will always find their way. Whisper, "Your inner lantern still glows." Gently, always. Story 23. The Bamboo That Bent But Never Broke. On a wide, wind-swept plain grew a forest of bamboo, tall, graceful, shimmering in sunlight. Among them was one stalk slightly shorter than the others. The other bamboo teased it. "You're too small." They would sway. "You will fall when the storms come." The small bamboo remained quiet. It only listened to the wind and learned its language. Then, one summer, a great storm arrived. a storm unlike any that had come before. Lightning split the sky. Wind roared through the plain. The tall bamboo swayed violently. One by one, many of them snapped under the force. But the small bamboo bent low, almost touching the earth, and it survived. When dawn came, the field lay quiet. Broken stalks scattered everywhere. The small bamboo stood alone, trembling but alive. A wandering monk passed by and paused. "Ah," he whispered, touching the thin stalk. "You have learned the greatest lesson of all." "It's not one," the bamboo asked softly. "What lesson?" "That flexibility is a form of strength," the monk answered. "Those who insist on standing tall fall. Those who bend endure." The bamboo lifted its leaves gently toward the golden morning, and in time, new bamboo sprouted from the roots of the fallen ones, learning, from the smallest survivor, the wisdom of the wind. Whisper. Bend tonight. You do not need to be strong, only soft. Story 24. The Tea Master who bowed to a beggar. In an ancient city filled with bustling markets and red stone walls lived the most admired tea master in the region. His ceremonies were known for their grace, his movements slow as falling petals. One morning, on his way to a nobleman's home, he encountered a ragged beggar sitting beneath a bridge. To everyone's shock, the tea master stopped and bowed deeply. People gasped. Some whispered, "Why bow to a beggar?" The tea master straightened and smiled. "Because today he teaches me humility." The beggar blinked. "Me? Teach you?" "Yes," the tea master said. "When I passed, I judged you for a moment, and that judgment showed me I still have much to learn." The beggar stared at him, overwhelmed. Tears gathered in his eyes. "Why would you bow to someone like me?" he whispered. "Because," the tea master replied, "you reminded me that all beings deserve respect, even the ones we overlook." He invited the beggar to join him at the nobleman's home. Of course, the noble was surprised, but the tea master poured tea for both of them with equal grace. And that day, the humble beggar drank the finest tea he had ever tasted, tea flavored with dignity, compassion, and the blessing of being seen. Whisper. Bow gently to all parts of yourself, even the forgotten ones. Story 25. The cloud that tried to hold the sky. High above the world, a small cloud floated among giants. The larger clouds were proud and heavy, full of thunder and rain. The small cloud felt insignificant beside them. "I wish I could be as big as they are," it sighed. "I want to hold the whole sky." The wind chuckled softly. "Little one, why such a burden?" "I want to matter," the cloud whispered. Days passed. The small cloud tried to grow, pulling moisture from the air, stretching, straining. But the more it grew, the darker it became, until it felt heavy with its own effort. Seeing it struggle, the wind wrapped around it gently. "Why do you try so hard to be large?" "Because I want to be important," the cloud murmured. "Ah," the wind said, "then let me show you something." The wind carried the cloud slowly across the sky until it passed over a dry village below. People looked up, shading their eyes. A soft rain began to fall, tiny droplets, peaceful, life-giving. Children ran into the streets, laughing. Farmers lifted their hands in gratitude. The small cloud drifted on, lighter now. "You see," whispered the wind, "a cloud does not need to hold the sky. It only needs to release what it carries." The small cloud smiled, turning pink with the setting sun, and from that day, it stopped trying to be big and simply learned to be gentle. Whisper. Release what you carry, slowly, softly. Story 26. The mountain that learned to listen. Long ago, in a valley wrapped with silver fog, there stood a mountain known for its silence. Travelers admired its height, its strength, its immovable stillness. But the mountain carried a quiet sadness. It could not hear. For centuries, winds brushed past its cliffs, Birds sang at its peak. Rivers hummed at its feet. Yet it remained deaf to all of it. One morning, a wandering monk approached the mountain and placed both palms against its cool stone. "Great one," the monk whispered. "Even giants can learn to listen." The mountain trembled slightly. "Listen? Me?" it wondered. "But how?" The monk visited every day. He sat cross-legged and breathed gently, saying nothing, just breathing. The mountain watched. Days turned to months. One evening, as dusk poured over the valley like soft blue ink, the monk returned, carrying a small wooden bowl. He filled it with water and set it on a flat stone. "Watch the surface," he told the mountain. "Watch how it responds to the world." The mountain observed. A breeze curled through the valley. Ripples danced across the bowl. Another breeze, another series of delicate waves. The monk smiled. "Listening begins here," he murmured, touching the water's surface. Not with ears, but with awareness. The mountain felt something shift deep inside its core, and slowly, very slowly, it began to notice the world in a new way. It felt the footsteps of animals climbing its ridges. It sensed the warmth of sunlight brushing its slopes. It recognized the slow, steady pull of the river carving its base. One night, as the monk slept nearby, a soft sound echoed within the mountain's heart. It was the wind singing, not roaring, not howling singing. The mountain finally heard it, a single whisper of melody after 1,000 years of silence. When the monk awoke, the mountain spoke in a voice like rolling thunder softened by moss. "Thank you, I can hear." The monk bowed deeply. "When the mind becomes still enough," he said, "even stone learns to listen." Whisper, soften, listen inward tonight. The world is already speaking. Story 27. The Potter Who Shaped the Moon. In a quiet riverside village lived an old potter named Hanzo. His hands were worn, his back bent, but his eyes gleamed like starlight. People said he shaped clay better than anyone, that his bowls held not just water, but peace. One evening, a young girl approached him with a trembling voice. "Master Hanzo, my mother is ill. She cannot sleep. Could you make a bowl that brings her rest?" Hanzo smiled gently and nodded. "Then we shall shape a piece of the moon for her." The girl blinked in surprise. "The moon?" "Yes," Hanzo said, "for the moon knows how to soothe even the wildest tides." That night, Hanzo sat before his wheel, but instead of beginning, he stepped outside and gazed up at the full moon hanging low and soft. He whispered, "Show me your quietness, your glow, your patience." A cool silver breeze brushed across his face. Returning inside, Hanzo began to work. He shaped the clay slowly, lovingly, letting his breath guide the rhythm of the wheel. With each rotation, he softened his heart. With each touch, he let go of hurry. He carved delicate curves, gentle as moonlight on water. He smoothed the rim until it felt like a whisper. When he finished, the bowl shone faintly in the lantern light round, calm, luminous. The next day, the girl brought it home. Her mother ran her fingers along its surface, feeling warmth radiate from within. That night, she placed the bowl beside her bed and fell asleep easily for the first time in weeks. Word spread. People came from faraway towns asking for bowls shaped like the moon. But Hanzo always said the same thing. "I did not shape the moon. I only shaped the quietness I learned from it." Whisper. Shape your night gently. Let the moon soften your breath. Story 28. The Willow That Held the Rain. Beside a slow-moving river stood a grand willow tree, its long green branches swaying like curtains of silk. Every summer, storms swept across the land. The willow watched dark clouds gather, feeling both awe and fear. One year, the storms became unusually fierce. Lightning cracked open the sky. Rain hammered the earth. The river swelled, creeping up its roots. The willow trembled. "I am not strong enough," it whispered. But the rain replied softly, "I do not come to break you. I come to be held." So the willow did something it had never done before. It opened itself to the storm. It allowed the rain to slide along its branches, to rest on its leaves, to soak into its thirsty roots. It bent low to let the wind pass through. It swayed instead of resisting, and slowly the willow realized something surprising. The rain did not hurt it. The wind did not steal from it. The storm did not destroy it. Instead, the willow grew stronger. When the skies finally cleared, new buds shimmered from its branches, brighter than ever. The river whispered in admiration. A wandering monk approached and rested beneath its shade. "You have learned a deep truth," he murmured. The willow asked softly, "What truth is that?" "That accepting what comes," the monk said, "is not weakness, it is wisdom." And so, from that season on, the willow no longer feared storms. It welcomed them like old friends, knowing each one carried nourishment. Whisper, "Let the rain of your day settle, soften, nourish you." Story 29. The Painter Who Captured Silence. In a misty lakeside town, there lived a painter named Haru, who longed to paint true silence. Not emptiness, not stillness, but the deep, breath-holding quiet that lives inside the soul. He traveled far, seeking inspiration. Cliffs, forests, monasteries, but every painting felt incomplete. One evening, exhausted, Haru sat beside a lake at dusk. Ripples shimmered lazily across the water. Fireflies drifted like small lanterns. A lone heron glided above the surface, its wings barely touching the air. For the first time, Haru did nothing. He simply watched. Minutes passed. Hours slipped by. A soft calm unfurled in his chest, so gentle he almost didn't notice it. And then he heard it. Silence. Not the absence of sound, but the presence of something tender, something pure, something alive. His eyes filled with tears. So this is silence. The next morning, Haru painted. He didn't think. He didn't plan. He just let the quiet guide his brush. Soft blues, fading purples, hints of silver, like moonlight dissolving into water. When he finished, he stepped back. The painting looked simple, almost empty, but anyone who stood before it felt their breath slow, their heart soften, their thoughts melt away into stillness. People came from many lands to stand before Haru's work. Some wept, some smiled, some fell silent for long minutes. They all felt the same thing. The quiet Haru discovered at the lake, and Haru finally understood. You cannot paint silence until you have let it paint you. Whisper, let silence paint your dreams tonight. Story 30. The Stone That Turned into a Star. Long ago, on a temple path lined with moss and fallen petals, lay a small stone. Monks passed it daily, never noticing it. Birds stepped over it without pause. Even the wind forgot to move it. The stone felt invisible, unimportant, ordinary. One night, a young monk named Kaito sat on the steps nearby, feeling discouraged that he had no special talents. I wish I could shine, he murmured. I wish I mattered. The stone heard him. I know that feeling. It whispered silently. A soft glow appeared above them, a gentle, shimmering light. An old, wandering hermit approached, carrying a lantern with a flame bright as dawn. He picked up the small stone and smiled. You feel dim, little one, he said, as if speaking to both the stone and Kaito. But even stars begin as something ordinary. He placed the stone into the lantern. Suddenly, the flame brightened. The stone glowed from within, turning translucent like crystal. Light poured from it warm, golden, alive. Kaito gasped. How did it become so bright? The hermit replied, it was not the flame that changed the stone. It was the belief that it could shine. Then he handed the lantern to Kaito. Carry this with you. Let it remind you that nothing, absolutely nothing, is too small to glow. Dolphin and the stone, once unnoticed, now lit the path every night, guiding monks, illuminating darkness, teaching quiet travelers that hidden within the ordinary waits a star. Whisper, you shine, too, gently, quietly, enough. Story 31, The Lantern Maker's Breath. In a quiet harbor town where seagulls drifted like pale ribbons across the sky, there lived an elderly lantern maker named Sora. His lanterns were famous throughout the coast, not for their beauty, but for the way they made people feel peaceful the moment the candles inside were lit. Visitors often asked him his secret. Sora would simply smile and say, "I breathe into them." People thought he meant it figuratively. They imagined he meant patience, intention, artistry. But one night, a curious fisherman stayed late to find out the truth. He watched from the doorway as Sora shaped the thin strips of bamboo, soaking them in warm water, bending them like gentle arcs of moonlight. He covered the frame with rice paper, so delicate it rustled like soft wings. Then Sora did something unexpected. He leaned close to the lantern, eyes closed, shoulders relaxed, and took a long, slow breath, then exhaled into the paper as if offering part of his spirit. The fisherman whispered, "What are you giving it?" Sora opened his eyes, smiling faintly. "Calm," he answered. "If my breath trembles with worry, the lantern will tremble too. But if I breathe gently, it glows gently." "And people feel it?" the fisherman asked. "Oh yes," Sora nodded. "Everything carries the quality of the breath that created it." The next night, the fisherman brought home one of Sora's lanterns. He lit it and watched the soft golden glow fill his small cottage. His wife, who often struggled to sleep, settled easily that night. Their daughter, usually restless, curled up beside the lantern and drifted off. The fisherman realized Sora hadn't been speaking in metaphor. Peace truly lived inside the lantern. And so, whenever his days grew heavy, he would remember Sora's words. "Your breath shapes your world. Even now, as you lie here listening, let your inhale soften. Let your exhale glow, as though you, too, are shaping a lantern of calm around your body." Whisper, breathe your own quiet light tonight. Story 32, The River That Forgot How to Flow. There was once a river high in the northern mountains, so swift and alive that travelers could hear its laughter from far away. It danced over stones. It shimmered in sunlight. It delighted in the journey of being water. But one winter, heavy snows blocked its path. Ice thickened across its surface. Boulders shifted and trapped the current. The river became frozen and still. Inside the silence, doubt grew. What if I never move again? What if I fail the valley that waits for me? The mountain winds tried to comfort it. "You have not failed," they whispered. "You are only paused." But fear can make even flowing water forget its nature. One day, a wandering monk trudged through the deep snow and knelt beside the ice. He placed a warm hand on the frozen river. "I know you are still here," he said softly. "I can feel your heartbeat beneath the cold." The river stirred, not with movement, but with remembrance. The monk built a small fire beside the bank. Not a large fire, just a gentle one, enough to warm the air. He sat there all afternoon, feeding the flame with quiet patience. As the sun dipped low, the monk whispered, "Nothing is wrong with resting." The river listened. It surrendered to stillness, not as failure, but as part of its nature. Days passed. Slowly, the ice softened. Small cracks formed. A faint trickling sound returned, timid but alive. And then, one morning, the river moved again. First a whisper, then a murmur, then a joyful rush as the water reclaimed its voice. When the monks in the valley heard the distant sound of flowing water, they smiled. The river had remembered itself. And so, whenever you feel stuck or frozen inside, let this river keep you company tonight. The stillness in you is not the end. It is simply winter passing. Let your breath melt slowly. Let your mind soften like ice turning to water. Whisper, you will flow again, gently, in your own time. Story 33. The candle that refused to burn out. In a small temple atop a hill where the air carried the scent of pine and cool earth, there was a single candle that burned in the meditation hall day and night. The monks believed it represented the quiet flame within each person. One evening, a violent storm rolled through. Wind pushed against the temple doors. Rain fell in sheets. Lightning shook the sky. The monks rushed to secure windows and close shutters, but when they returned to the hall, the candle still flickered, steady as a heartbeat. A young monk whispered, "How did it survive?" The elder monk smiled. "It survived because it bends." Confused, the young monk leaned closer. The flame wavered with every draft, bending low, bowing, swaying but never extinguishing. "It yields," the elder said. "It does not fight the wind, and so the wind does not defeat it." Night whenever tense, the young monk watched as the flame softened each gust with elegance. It moved with the world instead of against it. When morning came, the storm passed. Sunlight spilled through cracks in the shutters. The candle still glowed gently at its center. Later, the monks gathered and sat around the flickering flame. No one spoke. They simply breathed with it, and each one felt something inside relax. A knot loosened, a quiet strength rise from softness, not force. Tonight, as you settle deeper into the comfort of your bed, you might picture that small candle bowing, bending, never breaking. Let your breath sway like that flame. Let your body soften like warm wax. Let your thoughts drift like smoke rising into the night. Whisper. Bend gently with your life and rest. Story 34. The Old Clock and the Monk. In a weathered mountain monastery, an ancient wooden clock hung above the main hall. Its pendulum had swung for more than 100 years. Some monks found the ticking comforting. Others found it distracting. One young monk disliked it intensely. "It's too loud," he would grumble. "It steals my peace." One day, the tick-tock grew so irritating to him that he stormed outside for air. There, he met the oldest monk in the monastery, an elder with silver eyebrows and a smile like warm tea. "Troubled?" the elder asked gently. "It's that clock," the young monk groaned. "It won't stop talking." The elder chuckled. "Oh, it speaks." "Yes, but have you listened?" The young monk frowned. "I try not to." "Come," the elder said, leading him back inside. They sat beneath the clock. Tick, tock, tick, tock. "Now," the elder whispered, "don't shrink away from the sound. Let it in. Let it become part of the room, part of you." The young monk closed his eyes reluctantly. Tick, tock, but something shifted. The sound softened. It became rhythmic, predictable, steady, almost soothing. "It marks the passing of moments," the elder murmured, "not to warn you, but to free you. Each tick is a reminder you don't need to hold everything at once." Minutes passed. The young monk's shoulders relaxed. His breath slowed. When he opened his eyes, the clock sounded different, like a heartbeat he hadn't noticed before. That night, he slept deeper than he had in years. Now, as you lie here, you might imagine your thoughts ticking in the background, soft, steady, passing by on their own. Nothing you need to chase, nothing you need to fix, just moments moving gently through you. Whisper. Let each thought pass like a ticking clock, slow, steady, fading. Story 35. The cloud that wanted to hold the sky. High above rolling hills and sunlit fields, a small cloud drifted lazily across the sky. It was soft, round, perfectly white. But the cloud carried a secret longing. "I want to stay just like this forever," it whispered. "I want to keep my shape, my place, my certainty." But clouds are never still. As the day warmed, the cloud stretched, thinned, shifted. It drifted into a new shape, then another, then another. "Stop changing," the cloud cried. "I don't want to disappear." The sky, timeless and kind, spoke gently. You are not disappearing, little one. You are transforming. But what if I lose myself? The cloud asked. You cannot lose what you truly are. The sky replied. You are water, mist, light, movement. Shape is only temporary. The cloud tried to believe this. It let the wind carry it. It softened into long strands of silver. It gathered into soft billows of cream. It stretched into a thin veil across the sun, and with each change, it felt something surprising: freedom. When evening came, the cloud dissolved into the deepening blue, becoming part of the sky itself. Not gone, not lost, simply expanded. And the sky whispered, You see? Transformation is not the end. It is your return to everything. Me send. Tonight, as you drift deeper into rest, you might imagine yourself as that soft cloud changing gently, letting your day dissolve, returning to something spacious and peaceful inside you. Let your breath expand. Let your body loosen. Let your mind open like a twilight sky. Whisper, drift, soften, disappear into rest. Closing section. Transform your mind. Let go of judgment while you sleep. As this long, quiet journey draws toward its end, just let yourself settle a little more deeply, right where you are, held by the softness beneath you, carried by the breath inside you, surrounded by the gentle night. You've been traveling through stories and silence, through the tender landscape of your own heart, and now the path smooths out, like a long stretch of shoreline at dusk, simple, open, inviting you to rest. Let your body grow heavier in the bed, like a stone sinking through warm water, finding its natural place at the bottom of a still lake. There's nothing else you need to hold, nothing left to figure out, nothing to judge or compare, just the soft, downward pull of peace gathering around you. You might recall, faintly, the river that flowed without effort, the candle that bent with the wind, the sky that held every cloud without choosing which one was right or wrong. These images rise like gentle echoes, not asking for attention, only offering their quiet presence. And you can let them drift, the way autumn leaves drift across a calm yard, spiraling slowly, softly, until they disappear into the grass. Tonight, you don't need to be anything other than here. You don't need to meet any standard, inside or outside. There is no measure, no score, no weight placed upon your chest, just breath moving in and breath moving out, as steady as moonlight across an open field. If your mind tries to wander, it's okay. Let it wander the way a small boat wanders, across a quiet lake at night, guided by currents you don't need to understand. Everything moves the way it needs to. Everything settles eventually. You have done enough. Let the day fall behind you now, like a coat slipping from your shoulders. All its moments, all its noise, all its expectations. Let them slide gently to the floor. Feel the air around you soften. Feel your ribs expand like slow opening wings. Feel the back of your body sink, vertebra by vertebra, into the welcoming dark beneath you. There is no judgment here, no inner voice demanding shape or direction, only the wide, forgiving night, holding you exactly as you are. Imagine for a moment a quiet porch at the edge of a sleeping town. A lantern glows beside you. The world is hushed. The stars overhead breathe their faint silver breath, and you sit, wrapped in the cool night air, listening to nothing but the slow rhythm of your own peaceful existence. This place lives inside you. It has always lived inside you. It waits patiently for moments like this, moments when the world grows gentle enough for you to feel it again. Let your breath lengthen now, like waves rolling in and out on an endless, unhurried shore. Inhale, soft and spacious, as if drawing in the blue of the evening sky. Exhale, as if releasing a feather from your hand, and let the rhythm continue without effort, a quiet tide that carries you deeper into the warm darkness of rest. Perhaps you notice your thoughts growing lighter, like clouds thinning at twilight. They drift apart, grow pale, fade into the vastness around them. You don't need to push them away. You don't need to tame or change them. You just let them float until they dissolve on their own into the still sky of your mind. Tonight is not a night for striving. Tonight is not a night for clarity or answers. Tonight is a night for being held by something larger than thought, something gentler than effort, something older than worry. Feel how quiet the world has become. Feel how the darkness settles around you like a soft blanket, warm, safe, steady, a nighttime friend showing you the beauty of letting go. You may feel yourself drifting now, drifting the way a small cloud drifts across a moonlit sky, weightless, unhurried, free from the need to hold any shape at all. All the stories you've heard tonight are settling inside you, not as instructions, not as lessons, but as quiet companions, walking with you into sleep. They whisper gently, "Rest now. You are safe. You are enough. You may release everything." Let the words fade into the background. Let the pauses grow longer. Let the silence stretch like a long, soft exhale. Feel the edges of your awareness blur, as if wrapped in a soft fog of moonlight. Feel your body sinking deeper, like a pebble resting at the bottom of a warm spring. You are drifting, 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 and the night is carrying you exactly where you need to go. No judgment, no effort, just the slow unfolding of deep, healing rest. Allow the darkness to gather you in, the way the ocean gathers every wave, gently, completely, without question. Breathe once more, soft, slow, a whisper of breath, and let yourself slip now into the quiet, open space where dreams begin. Good night, sweet soul, rest.